Get to the chopper. Predator is the best movie ever made. This is Caleb Jones, and this is Alpha Male 2.0. Freedom-focused lifestyle design for men. Location-independent income through your own location-independent business that you own and control. Dating not one, but multiple attractive women all at the same time with no lying, cheating, or drama. The freest lifestyle a man can possibly live in the collapsing Western era in which we live. Today, we're going to talk about testosterone, which is one of the key core requirements of the Alpha Male 2.0 lifestyle. I have a lot of data to give you today, some of which I have given before, some of which I have not. How are we doing over here? Hang on a second. Make sure that everything's working. Looks good. Okay. Hang on. There was something else as I mentioned before we got started, and I don't think I can remember it. 90-Day Business Builder is active right now, 90daybizbuilder.com or 90day.ca. You have a few more days to sign up for that. What we have decided to do very quickly on that is, we did a trial period last time. We're modifying it this time. I was not going to do this, but some people on my team convinced me to test this. We will do a trial period again. So what you can do is you can sign up for 90-Day Business Builder. You pay nothing, but we do take your credit card and we're able to charge it later. You sign up this week or early next. That's your deadline. I think is Tuesday. Then your first session is April the 6th. That is Saturday. Then that day after the session, that's when you make your decision if you're going to join the program or not. If you choose not to, then we will, no problem. You owe us nothing and we kick you out of the program nicely. If you continue on and make the payment, then you're on. If you can, and that's, anyway, if you're interested in that, 90daybizbuilder.com or 90day.ca. I know you don't teach day game, but what if someone uses day game just to get contact info? Would they then follow your dating model the same way with the expected outcomes? Yes, the Alpha 2.0 Black Dragon dating system is compatible with day game. Yes, correct. It's also compatible with night game if you didn't have sex there that night you met her. So what they call in the olden days the day two. So the answer is yes, that would work. What did I want to talk about today? I mean, other than testosterone, there's another thing I was going to mention that you guys were asking about earlier. What was it? I don't remember now, man. Damn it. Yeah, I've said this. I'm 70% in the direction of simulation theory in terms of belief in God and the universe and things like this. Now I'm 80%. The older I get, the more research I do, the more I'm convinced that this is probably a simulation is not a good word, a construct that someone made. Yeah. The latest piece of evidence that I learned is, and I knew this already, but I didn't put this together until I heard someone explain this. I'll go through this really quick because this gets into a very deep topic, obviously. How old is the universe? 14 billion years. Okay, great. So how old are we? How old are human beings? How long did it take for human beings to form on planet Earth? 4 billion. Okay, great. So here's the weird part. How old is the universe going to last before the universe ends? And there's 3 or 4 different theories of how the universe ends. How long will the universe last? Okay, according to all the experts, somewhere around 2 trillion years. Okay, so now do the math on this. Let's for ease of our brains to work, let's take 1 billion years and make it equal to 1 year. Okay, so if we make that adjustment, the universe is 14 years old. We are 4 years old. But the universe is going to last 2,000 years. Okay? So that means that we are a very young race in the universe, a very young form of life. We may very well be the first form of life in the Milky Way galaxy, especially when you add up all the weird things that had to happen for us to live. The fact that if the moon wasn't there, we would have never formed. If Jupiter wasn't in its right spot in the solar system, we wouldn't have formed as human beings. Solar systems that have 3 or 4 small inner planets and giant gas giants as the remainder planets is extremely ridiculously statistically rare. All these things, we probably are the only creatures in the universe, not in the universe, at least in the Milky Way galaxy. Now, if the universe was, again, a billion years is 1 year, okay? If the universe was 1,000 years old and we were 4 years old, then it would make sense that there's all kinds of aliens and shit. But no. Now, what is the statistical probability that we are the first out of a 2,000-year-old universe? We're formed within the first 14, and it only took us 4. Simulation theory. I'm not saying it's 100. I'm not saying I'm 100% there, but I'm 80% there. I used to be 70% there. Now I'm 80. That's why whenever I talk about religionists, I mean, when religionists on my channel saying, Caleb, when I say religion is bullshit, which it is, okay, they say, but wait a minute, there's all this evidence for a creator. Yes, I agree with that part. I believe in intelligent design. What I don't believe in is the Judeo-Christian God described in the Bible or the Allah described in the Quran. I don't believe in any of that. Okay, but yeah. So these religionists who try to debate me talk about there's lots of evidence for intelligent design and how the universe was created. Yes, I agree with you on that. Now show me the scientific proof that Jesus raised people from the dead. Good luck. That's the problem. So anyway, all right, should we get started here? My God, look at all the questions. Damn. I'll do one more question, then we'll get started here. I'll do 1 or 2. Do you use sex toys for FBs, MLTR, OLTR? Vibrators, yes, I do. Yeah, girls like those. You don't need to; they're optional. I'm thinking of buying a magic wand. I have one right over there. And I recently used it, not on myself, on someone. Yes. Any tips? You don't need tips to use vibrators. That's the easiest way to make a woman come. That's the lazy man's way of making a woman come. That's why I started using it for years. It takes less time. There's no tips. Just put it on, or at least put it on the side and just wait, and she'll come. That's it. It's good time management. Let's do one more question. I'll get to our topic. I'll do your question at the end. Regarding STD, is having sex without condom and oral sex the same risk? No, not even close. Nope. I'm asking because you said you go down to women, but you use condoms first time having sex. Correct. But I generally don't go down to women the first time I have sex with them. Generally, I have, but yes, if I'm not using a vibrator, I will go down. My objective, one of the cardinal rules, is to make her orgasm every time you have sex. So I'm going to do that in any way I can. If I don't have a vibrator, I'll use my finger or my tongue. The odds of you getting STD from going down on a woman is microscopic. I already talked about my blogs. The odds of you getting STD at all are very low. I mean, it's well under the 2% rule. Matter of fact, I will talk about the 2% rule today in terms of longevity and a procedure I'm going to go get next week. Remind me if I forget. All right. All right. Let's start with the topic. Hang on one moment. Testosterone. Oh, first, really quick. This is a podcast. If you prefer to listen to the audio version, I'm on all the normal podcast platforms, the top 12. You go to alphamale20.com/podcast. If you want the Unchained CEO podcast, you can go to calebjones.com/podcast. Kind of obvious, right? Right. And those who are interested in Paraguay, you have a few more days left. www.caleb.top/go. Okay. Testosterone. A healthy level of testosterone for the rest of your life. Let me say that again. For the rest of your life, not just when you're in your 20s or 30s, although many men in their 20s and 30s have shitty testosterone now, welcome to Western collapse, is a core requirement of the Alpha Male 2.0 lifestyle. Why? Now, first of all, when I say healthy testosterone, I'm not talking about steroid use. That's stupid. Okay. I'm talking about a healthy level of testosterone, not too low and not too high. I will be very specific in a few minutes. Here is all the scientific data, and I am living proof of this. I've been on TRT for 7, 8 years now? Anyway, we'll get into the detail about that. The higher your testosterone, as long as it's not too high, I'll discuss too high in a little bit. The higher your testosterone, here's the list. The more energy you will have all day long. There's a reason I have all this energy. It is late at night here in Dubai. and I have all this energy. And you know what? I didn't get a lot of sleep last night because I woke up 2 hours early this morning because I'm doing saltwater fasting, and it makes my sleep weird. So there you go. I still have plenty of energy. I'm not sleepy at all. Okay. You will have more energy all day long for work and sex and your personal life and anything else you're doing when your testosterone is healthy. When your testosterone is low, you will feel sleepy and tired and shiftless and unmotivated. This sucks. That's you. Number 2, you will have better sleep. Your sleep will massively improve. And as I've written in The Unchained Man, which you guys who have already pre-ordered are going to have it, I think, in 48 hours. I'm hoping, probably, at least the book, the audiobook right after that. I talk about how sleep is the most important thing for your long-term health, energy levels, and happiness in life in terms of the physicality. More important than exercise, more important than diet is sleep. And your sleep will massively improve when your testosterone is healthy. A lot of people have shitty sleep are low testosterone guys. Number 3, obviously you'll be better sexually. Your dick will work better, speaking generally. Abso-fucking-lutely. Yes. Next one. You will be able to gain and maintain muscle mass more easily. Those of you who lift weights. By the way, I talk about this, The Unchained Man. If you are over the age of 35, weightlifting or other resistance training is mandatory for the Alpha Male 2.0. It is optional if you're under age 35, optional but recommended. It is mandatory if you're over 35. You must lift weights. You don't go every day, okay? Twice a week is probably fine for most guys, but you got to do it, okay? When you do this and your testosterone is healthy, bigger, stronger muscles faster. You'll be stronger, more endurance, all that stuff. When your testosterone drops, it gets harder to gain that muscle, okay? Next one, you will look younger. I turned 52 in about a month. Do I look 52? There you go. Okay, that's the next one. Now, that's not a huge benefit. That's not a hardcore. It's not like, you're on your testosterone, suddenly you look younger. That's more human growth hormone and other anti-aging techniques, which is off the scope of this podcast, but this particular episode. But anyway, it will help. You'll be happier. If you're pissed off all the time, especially if you're touchy, Americans, if you're touchy all the time and, you read something on the internet and you go all pissed off, low T. Some people seem to think that guys who get mad are high T guys and T makes you more angry. And no, it's the exact opposite. Talk to any testosterone expert or doctor. Guys who get pissed off all the fucking time are low T beta pussies. Guys who are smiling, having a great time, high T. Okay. You'll be more motivated. There's a reason I'm motivated as I am. Now, I've always been a motivated guy. It's not a problem I've ever had, but my testosterone helps. I have the testosterone of an 18-year-old athlete right now. I'll give you specific numbers in a minute. I'm 52. I'm almost 52. I have higher testosterone than lots of men who are literally in their mid-20s, who are half my age. Okay? More endurance in terms of physicality. If you do a cardio exercise, if you have long sex fuck sessions, it takes longer for you to get tired. Testosterone will help. You will have less cognitive decline as you age. Again, the myth is that, testosterone will kill you, which is so stupid. No, you will live longer. You have less cognitive decline as you age. The odds of me having more cognitive decline and turning into Joe Biden are much less for me because I'm going to have a healthy level of testosterone for the rest of my life. This level of testosterone I have right now of an 18-year-old athlete, I'm going to have the rest of my life at least until age 79. And then I will reevaluate then. Okay. And then lastly, you will live longer. When your testosterone is healthy and you're a man, your odds of dying for any reason go down. Odds of death for any reason go down, not up. People think you get prostate cancer. No, dumb fuck. That was a dumb thing out of the 1970s. They did some experiments in the 1970s. They took some really old sick men and they jacked their testosterone up to like 3,000 and some of them got sick. Well, fucking of course. And so since then, everyone said, well, you might get prostate cancer. No, you won't. It reduces the odds of cancer when your testosterone is healthy but not too high. All right. So I'm going to cover, why is my mouse not working? I've had trouble with this mouse today. Hang on. I'm going to cover both the natural ways of increasing your testosterone and the exogenous ways in which you can increase testosterone, where you go on TRT. You don't need to go on TRT. Some of you guys are like, well, I don't like needles and I don't want to do that and I don't trust. Great. There are ways you could go raise your T naturally that can work under certain conditions. Sometimes it's not enough. I'll talk about that in a minute. Difference between TRT and going on steroids. Often when you say TRT or injecting needles, immediately some people think steroids are bad. Caleb, that's steroids. No, let me explain. I'm going to use American measurements. If you are not an American, you have to convert. There are calculators online. You can do this. The American measurement is nanograms per deciliter. That's NG/DL. Okay. Using those American measurements, your testosterone, ideally, in most cases, there are exceptions, should be between this is total testosterone, not free testosterone. Your total T should be between 700 and 1200. 700 and 1200. Now, can you be perfectly fine at 600? Some men can. I'm speaking in generalities here. By the way, disclaimer, I am not a doctor. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Don't take medical advice from me. Okay. So 700 to 1200. Okay. More than 1200 is steroids. And if you start doing that, you're going to have all kinds of weird shit happening. Your muscles are going to get fucked up. It's going to fuck up your genitals. You're going to start acting insane. Yes, don't go on steroids. You're a moron if you do steroids. I can't believe how many stupid young guys do this. Don't do this, please. Love of God. Okay, no. That's more than 1200. Okay? So if your testosterone is 400 or 200, a lot of you have this, 300, that's low. You need to get up to 700 at least, 700 to 1200. My testosterone is 1130, 1130-ish. Whenever I get it tested. So it's right below that 1200. That's exactly where I want it. I want it as high as I can within the healthy range. That's me. Now, if you want to get it to 700, 800, great. But if you stay under 1200, it's not steroids. Steroids is when you jack your testosterone like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, which is insane. Don't do that. I don't recommend that. It's stupid. Okay. So every time you see, by the way, these are arguments you'll see on the internet. You respond to these arguments. Hey, TRT is steroids. But Caleb, testosterone is a steroid. Okay, steroids in quotes means you're over 1200. Don't do that. That's stupid. All right. Next thing, prostate cancer. I already addressed that. They took these old men in the 70s and they jacked their testosterone like 3,000, and some of them got prostate cancer. Yeah. Well, here's a thought. Don't fucking go over 1200, and don't do this when you're 95 years old. Duh. Okay. No. By the way, think about prostate cancer. I've already talked about this on other materials. If you are a man and you live long enough, you're guaranteed to get prostate cancer. The only men who don't get prostate cancer are men who happen to die before they get it. Your prostate was never designed to last that long. So if you live a long, long, long time, you probably will get some form of prostate cancer at some point when you're old. That's the way it goes. Get ready. Okay. You might be lucky and die when you're 79 before you would have got it at 85 or whatever. My dad had it a few years ago. You'll probably get it. There are ways you can mitigate it, but I don't know if you can prevent it because the prostate wasn't designed to last that long. Just the way it goes. Now, hopefully by the time you and I are very old, they will develop technologies to offset that. I think they will. But at the moment, yeah. Next thing, stroke. Some people say, you get a stroke because you're red blood cell. Okay, let me tell you, this is one of my favorite stories about this, because talk about how stupid doctors are. I've told this story several times. One of my favorite stories. I was at a doctor's office once several years ago. Woman, very smart, intelligent doctor. Because these doctors aren't stupid. Doctors have their own false societal programming. We were there why was I there? I don't remember. Getting some kind of checkup or something. Had nothing to do with TRT. And she goes, okay, you on any medications? No. Are you on any of this? No. I said, well, I'm on TRT. And she looks at me like this, like her eyes get all big, like, you realize you're at increased risk of stroke, right? Now, this is where knowledge defends you. I said, you mean because of increased RBC count, which means red blood cell count in your blood, too much red blood cells. If it goes over 50, you get a range from 1 to 100. If it goes over 50, that is dangerous. You can get brain clots and you can get a stroke. So I said to her, you mean because of increased RBC count in my blood? I donate blood every 4 months. So my RBC never goes anywhere near 50. So I'll never get a stroke. She goes, oh, okay. Don't let doctors scare you who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I've told stories during the pandemic, all these doctors saying, Caleb, you better wear a mask. You might die. What is the percentage probability that I'm going to die if I get the cerveza sickness? Tell me the number, please, because I follow the 2% rule. Go ahead, tell me the number. Well, okay, so doctors are full of shit. Okay, just be aware of this. All right, now, so if you're on TRT, and you may not ever go on TRT. You might just do natural stuff. I'm on TRT. I go donate blood every 2 to 4 months. Now I go overkill. You only need to go once every 6 months. But yes, if you're on TRT for real, you're injecting exogenous testosterone. Part of the protocol is you go in and donate blood once every 6 months. When you donate a pint of blood, you save 3 lives. You're helping the world. There you go. So and your RBC count will never go past 50. It's even better if you do what's called double RBC. I do this here in Dubai. If you live in a more high-tech region, you can do this. Lower tech regions, you can't. Double RBC, you go once and it lasts longer. Instead of lasting 3, 4, 5 months, it lasts 6, 7, 8. Pretty cool. So I do that when I can. So there you go. I just donated blood a week or 2 ago. I stole the bruise somewhere in my arm. Well, the bruise is going away now. They had to hit both my arms because they couldn't get a vein in there. Anyway, so not a big deal. Plus, here's the other thing. One of the theories of women living longer than men is that women bleed all the time, right? Once a month, they bleed. Do men in the modern era ever bleed? No. So when you bleed a lot, it forces your body to recreate new blood. So your blood is really healthy when you bleed a lot or bleed regularly. So by donating blood on a regular basis, this is something I wanted to do even before TRT. You force your body to remake new blood, which is really good for you and really helps longevity. There's some data that indicates this. So you have a double win. Let's see here. My mouse is not cooperating. Your testosterone, here's the bad news. Your testosterone will start dropping 1% every year when you hit 30. That's even before the line that I consider younger to older. Younger to older is 35. So in my world, if you're 34 or under, you're a younger man. If you're 35 plus, you are an older man. So even when you're a younger man, this shit starts 1% every year. Let's see. There is now an epidemic of men in their 20s. You've seen these guys on YouTube. They go in to get their testosterone shit. These guys are like 24. And I said 700 to 1200, right? They get their T checked and they're like, their testosterone is like 250, 300, 150. Doctors, including Dr. Wingy, a friend of mine who I've had on my podcast, including him, but a lot of us keep telling me that the biggest thing we're seeing, the testosterone doctors, excuse me, the biggest thing we're seeing are young guys who have super low T. Millennials and Gen Z, I'm shocked. All right, so we have that. So even if you're young, your odds are pretty good because of your lifestyle. You're sitting on your ass all day. You're on your fucking phone all day. You're never having any sex because Gen Z doesn't like doing that, apparently. You're not exercising. You're not lifting weights. You're not doing shit. You're drinking a bunch of shit out of plastic bottles, and you're eating all this garbage, junk food. You get all this estrogen in the water. Okay, you're not filtering your water like I do. You get low T. Sucks. This is why I said I have higher energy than a lot of men I know who are literally half my age. And I mean that literally. I know a lot of guys who are young guys. They can't work the hours I work. They get too tired. I'm too tired. How do you work all this? I get tired. Bro, you're 24. I'm tired. I just want to smoke weed. By the way, that'll fuck your teeth too. So 700, 1200. Now, if a doctor was sitting right next to me, and every doctor says testosterone doctor, they would say, Caleb, you don't treat the numbers, you treat the symptoms. So if you feel great, let's say you get your testosterone checked, a blood test, and your testosterone is 550. And let's say you're, 32, right? You're not super old. How do you feel? Do you feel good? Do you have lots of energy? Does your dick work great during sex? Are you exercising well? Do you get good response to the gym? If the answer is yes, I feel great, then you're good. You don't need to do anything. You don't treat the number, you treat the symptoms. Now, usually if the number is lower, you are going to have symptoms. But sometimes every guy is different about this stuff. Every guy works with their T a little differently. So the number is a guidepost. It's not the symptoms. I'm saying this to be friendly to all the testosterone doctors who may be watching. Caleb, you're not supposed to treat this. The numbers, you're supposed to treat the symptoms. Got it. I agree with you. It's fine. Now, natural versus assisted methods. Okay. There's a pro and con to this, and this is confusing. You'll see a lot of this bullshit on the internet as usual. Some guy will start talking about TRT, which is exogenous, which means from the outside in, exogenous testosterone you put into your body. And some men are really against this and they don't like it. Well, I don't want to put that. They say, you don't need to do TRT. There are natural ways in which you can boost your testosterone. Are they right? Yes and no. There are indeed natural ways to boost your testosterone by several hundred points. Yes. I'm going to go through a lot of them today. However, if your testosterone is very low, and a lot of men are, probably most men in the Western world have very low T. Let's say your testosterone is 200, which is not unusual at all. I've talked to a lot of guys in our coaching programs of all ages, younger and older. Their test is like 202, 220, 180. God. It's equivalent to that's equivalent to what used to be a 75-year-old man. Yeah. Collapse of Western world, collapse of men, post-masculine world, everything we've talked about. So, okay, your testosterone is 200. So you do all the natural shit, and you raise your testosterone from 200 to 450. It's still too low. Your dick still doesn't work, or you're too sleepy, or you're frustrated all the time, you're not motivated. Then the natural methods don't work. You're going to have to go on some form of TRT. So if your testosterone is a little low, yes, you should pursue natural options, and that may work for you. If your testosterone is really low, I'm sorry, you're probably going to have to do something exogenous. I'm sorry. So these guys say you don't need to go on TRT. There are natural options. It depends. How low is the guy? If the guy's a little low, right. If the guy's very low, no, there won't be enough. Sorry. That's the way it goes. I wish it was better answers, but we don't. All right. Yeah, naturally, you could boost your T naturally by 200 to 300, maybe 400 points at the most if you really go crazy. So here's how you do this. By the way, I've mentioned this before. The best article I've ever read on naturally raising your testosterone, if you Google artofmanliness.com/testosterone, you read the whole article. It's about a guy who started at like 250 and got to 700. All natural means without doing anything exotic. Now, here's the problem. You read the article, he blew his fucking brains out for months. He really worked very hard at this. Most men aren't going to have the time or effort to do all the things that he did, but it's still a good article to read. Okay. Here's how you raise your testosterone naturally without having gone on TRT. Ready? Here are all the methods. Number one, more and better sleep. Number one, top of the list, as always. As always, more and better sleep, 7 to 8 hours of sleep every fucking night. No excuses. Spend $300 and get this right here on my finger. Oura Ring. It'll change your life. You can track your sleep. Every morning I check these numbers. I'm looking for optimal numbers. Didn't get optimal numbers this morning because for some saltwater fasting, I woke up 2 hours early and just was wide awake. Great. Okay, that's unusual for me. That's rare. The only time I ever have problems sleeping is when I'm traveling and I'm jet lagged. That's it. My sleep scores are super high. They're awesome. This is not a thing on sleep. I've talked a lot about sleep. I sleep over in that bedroom over there, okay? And I have blacked out the entire window. I don't use curtains. I have blackout tape. You get them on Amazon. And then I have a rumble noise with a speaker. Then I have those fancy, I've shown them on my videos, those nice Allen Breeze Smart air purifiers shooting right at my face. So it's my fan. So that's noise. Then I wear earplugs. Then I tape my mouth shut. There's mouth tape so you don't go in the middle of the night. And then I have nose strips to open up my nose. I go crazy because I want to make sure my sleep is optimal. There's a reason my testosterone is that high in addition to TRT. Okay? Sleep. But Caleb, my sleep is troublesome. I wake up in the middle of the night and figure it out. You need to see a doctor? Go see a doctor. You see a therapist? Go see a therapist. Figure it the fuck out. Well, Caleb, my girlfriend keeps tossing and turning. Or I love this one. My girlfriend/wife's dog in the middle of the night keeps. Don't sleep with the fucking dog. Get some balls. All right. Next one. Compound weightlifting, high weights, low reps. Now, any weightlifting will help improve if you're not weightlifting at all. But the ones that will really kick your testosterone, I mean, if you're healthy, you can do 200 points just by doing this. Heavy, low reps, compound weightlifting exercises. Squats. Squats are the best. Because squats engages like 45% of your body, or the muscles in your body. Deadlifts, bench press, military press, compound exercises, awesome. 200 points just from doing that frequently. Now, if you don't want to do heavy weights, then do lighter weights, but whatever. Next one. If you're the kind of guy who likes doing this, I do this a little bit, not much. High intensity cardio, HIIT training, So that means you get on a treadmill or whatever, or elliptical or whatever, and you go as fast as you can for 30 seconds or 60 seconds. You blow your brains that you're going to die, and then you stop and do normal for like 1 minute or 2 minutes. Then you go as fast as you can again. In other words, it's sprinting. That will raise testosterone. Not required, but it will. More protein in your diet, more saturated fat in your diet, especially healthy saturated fat like, eggs and butter, things like that, natural butter. Vitamin D. We talked a lot about this. That's one of the 4 things you should be checking. So I'll review this. I've said this many times. My blood test, and your blood test should include testosterone, vitamin D, estrogen, which is estradiol, and thyroid, which is T3. Okay. Vitamin D is critical. Your vitamin D should, in American measurements again, should be as close to 50 as you can. It can be more than 50. I'm over 50. I'm like 56 or something. Way, way back in the day before I do any of this stuff, I tested my vitamin D a long time ago. It was 14. It's awful. I kicked that shit up to like 30, 35, felt so much better. Vitamin D is like a miniature TRT. So that'll help testosterone. It is separate than testosterone. So you go on TRT, you still need to take vitamin D. I take 10,000 IU a day, and I live in Dubai where it's sunny. I don't want to fuck with it. I want it nice and strong. Next one. This is my favorite one that will increase testosterone. This is not me being silly or funny. This is scientifically proven. Google it and do the research yourself. More sex. Now, masturbation doesn't count. Let me say that again. I can't believe I have to say these things. Masturbation doesn't count. Sex. I'll prove it in a second. Sex with a woman. Now, how do we know? Why do we know this? Because it's not just more sex with hotter and younger women. What? Yes, my body doesn't know how old a woman is. Yes, it fucking does. Here's another thing I've quoted many times. They've done experiments with old men, okay? Like guys in their 80s, old fuckers. They'll do a quick testosterone check on their blood, okay? They'll get the reading. It'll be low. They'll put them in a room, and the smoking hot 21-year-old girl will come out and sit down across the table and just talk to these guys for 20 minutes. That's it. No touching, no nothing. They'll just talk. Sexy, smoking hot younger woman. They leave the room. Their testosterone has increased in 20 minutes by 14%. They do the same thing with an overweight woman who's 50. Nothing happens. I wonder why. So, sex helps your health. I talk about this in great detail in my books, including The Unchained Man. You don't just get laid because it feels good. People say, well, sex is immature and it's, you shouldn't have a premarital sex. I'm a Christian. Okay, dumb fuck. No, sex has multiple health benefits, including testosterone. Yet another reason my testosterone is very high is I'm having sex with younger, super attractive women several times a week. There you go. Okay, so you just do that. Testosterone will go up. I promise. Try it and you'll see. Next one, also very important. Reduce stress. Why? So this is meditation, whatever you do to reduce stress, breathing exercises. Why? Cortisol kills testosterone. So when you're stressed out and pissed off, you murder your testosterone. So if you're in a constant state of, this is bullshit, and you're mad and pissed off all the time, you're suppressing your T. Outcome independence. What do I talk about in Alpha Male 2.0? Outcome independence. Stop giving a shit. Meditate. Breathe. I meditate about 4 times a week. I do transcendental meditation, with the hardest one you can do. Okay? Someone just commented the other day, Keel, you don't seem stressed at all. Correct. I'm not. Not a stressy guy. All right? So all those things will help raise your testosterone. Naturally, it will not get you to 1,200 if you're 200, but if you're 200, it'll get you to 300, 400, 500 maybe. Yeah. All right. Now, for if you are older or if you're younger and your T is super fucking low, and many of you are in this category, natural means are not going to be enough, especially if you're over 40. Very low probability. Some guys are genetic freaks. I've met a few. But the odds, if you're over 40, that you can get your T up to the good levels where they are with me just by doing the natural stuff, low. Possible, but low. You're going to have to go in some form of TRT. Several different ways to do this. There's 2 ways in which I recommend, and there's a third way which can work for some people. There's other weird esoteric ways, but I'll give you the main 3 ways: needles, implant, or cream. Okay. Needles is what I do. You give yourself these little injections in your shoulder. I have a whole YouTube video on my Alpha Male 2.0 YouTube channel where I show you exactly, I demonstrate me, shooting myself in the arm. I do it about 4 times a week. You can go look for that video if you like. I inject, 4 times a week. I inject testosterone. I also inject a vitamin B shot because I get higher absorption. I get 100% absorption when I inject it versus if you take a pill, you get 30% absorption. And then I also inject a thing called HCG or gonadorelin, which helps keep my natural testosterone and my exogenous testosterone stacks on top instead of my testosterone replacing my HCG. The 2 benefits of that is your balls don't shrink or don't shrink as much, and you have stronger orgasms. You do. So that's one option. And then that way, the good thing about needles is the bad thing is you have to inject yourself. You got to travel when it's a hassle. That's the bad thing. The good news is you can constantly adjust the numbers. So you could get a blood test, work with your doctor, please. By the way, let me back up. Only do TRT under the supervision of a doctor. Do not try to do this yourselves. You guys under 30, you dumb fucks, you young guys. Too many guys. This was a big thing about 15 years ago on the internet. All these guys doing this shit themselves. No, please. Work with a doctor for the love of God. Okay. So anyway, maybe your T gets too high or too low or the estrogen spikes or whatever. You can adjust what you're putting into your body. That's why I like the needles. But they're a hassle. So there's pros and cons. Do they hurt? No. Use what's called high gauge needles, which means the needle is very, very narrow. You can barely feel it. And again, the fuck. Sorry, I was a second. Hang on a moment. Sorry about that. Am I back? Hang on. Something happened to my Wi-Fi. Don't happen. Sorry about that. Am I back? We're good. Shit. Now, where was I? I'm going to forget. Oh, next form of TRT that you could do that I recommend, and lots of guys in the Alpha Male 2.0 community are doing this, especially guys over 40, is the implant. This is pretty cool. The way this works is a little tiny pellet, about as big as a small vitamin. Okay. And it goes right above your butt. And it goes inside your body and just stays there. And it just time releases testosterone in your system. So you never have to do any injections. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to do anything. And a lot of guys, all my buddies love it to death. The downside is if you ever need to adjust something, it's a little tricky because I got to pull it out and make some adjustments and, but that's cool. That works too. The implant's great. Next one, cream. It's basically a cream you put on your balls because that's what produces testosterone are your balls. And so the cream works for guys. I'm not a doctor. Okay. Don't take my medical advice. But in my experience with guys use the cream, it works only for guys who are pretty physically fit and they just need a little boost to their testosterone that naturally they can't get. If your testosterone is super low and you're not Mr. Ripped guy, cream's kind of a waste of time. So it's a waste of time for, guys who are really low. If you're just a little low or you're older, but you're very physically fit, cream works great. Because it's not as effective a dosage as needles or a implant. That's just my kind of anecdotal experience with cream. I've never used the cream, but I talked to a lot of people about this, and that's just what I see out there. All right, let's see. Here's what doesn't work. Supplements. On every fucking fitness website that sells any supplements, you'll see testosterone. Boost your testosterone. Take this supplement. It won't work. It will not work. Kill, but it says it will. Yeah, it must be right. Everything on the internet must be true, right? Because it's on the internet. No. So now, things like vitamin D, vitamin C will assist a little bit. But if you're low and you need it boosted, a supplement's not going to fucking do it. I'm sorry. It's not. It's not, it's not, it's not. Natural means, which I just listed, or go on TRT, or both. Because I do both. I'm on TRT and I do all the natural stuff I just talked about. I do all those things. You do both. How much does TRT cost? It's going to range between $150 a month and $450 a month, depending on where you're getting it, what country you live in, what your protocol is, if you're doing other things besides TRT. So I'm not just taking testosterone. I'm also taking HCG/gonadorelin and vitamin B. So I'm taking other stuff. So it costs a little more for me. Here's the deal on this, though. This is a true statistic from my life. When I first went on TRT, I've talked about this many times. As soon as I went on TRT, within, I don't remember how long it took, not long, my average monthly income went up by 82% because I had more energy. I was more focused. And I was already making a six-figure income. I already had plenty of energy and was pretty focused. It helped me that much more. So help me that much. Guess how much it'll help you. So it pays for itself. TRT is a profit center for me. I make money on that expense. If TRT was quadruple what it costs, I would still do it because it makes me money. By the way, this is why I have not started HGH, which is human growth hormone, yet, because it does not improve your energy levels or your focus. It just makes you look better and gives you a little better recovery at the gym. That's it. So it's not a profit center. That's why I haven't done it yet. I'm going to, but not yet. So there you go. So yes, it's going to cost you a little. Now, here's the other thing. Most guys need this are older, although that's not true anymore. If you're older, money should be a problem. If you're over 40, and if I said 150 to 450, went, oh my God, that's a lot of money. What the fuck are you? You're in 40s, dude. That should not be a problem for you. If you're 22, I understand. If you're in your 40s, that should not be an issue. Okay. And if it is, you're behind schedule, get to work. All right. International. I'm going to cover something else and then we'll go to questions. Actually, let me take a drink. Living an international 5 flags lifestyle. I've received these questions. Caleb, you travel all over the world and you do needles. Have you ever had problems at airports? Or have you ever had problems where you had to mix the HCG? Or have you ever had problems where you have to refrigerate? No. Okay, let me tell you my experience. Yes, I have been literally all over the planet Earth. And in many times I have gone on trips where I was gone for a month. So I had a gigantic roll of needles. They are insulin needles. They're small, like a gigantic bundle of them in a giant Ziploc bag. And never once have I had any trouble at an airport with those needles. Namely because I think they're insulin needles. So they're required for people who are on old people who are on diabetes. So airport staff are used to seeing those kinds of needles. They go, oh, he must have diabetes wherever they see him. So maybe they think I have diabetes. I don't know. So I have never had a problem anywhere, including very countries with real asshole airports about this shit, like Australia, like Stansted Airport in the UK. Okay, even those horrible places, they didn't give a shit. So I've never had a problem. The only time I've had a problem with the needles ever, one time here in Dubai of all places, and I fly in and out of Dubai a billion times. If you fly to Dubai with Emirates Airlines, which is the upper level airline, they check your bag. You go through security. Then there's a second security check. They're very into security in the Middle East, as you might imagine. They do a second security check when you're waiting at the gate. And they've checked my bags 200 times, never had a problem. One out of 200 times, I had this one weirdo who saw the syringes and said, well, these are sharp. We need to keep these in the cabin with us, with the airline staff. And at the end of the flight, just come get it. We'll give it back to you. I said, you've never done that? The same thing you always say to airports. I've been through this 100 times. No one's ever had a problem. Well, sorry, we have. Oh, so that's it. So it was fine. That's literally the only problem I had in 15 years of traveling all over the planet Earth. Never had a problem. Mixing. So sometimes you do HCG. You have to mix it. You get 2 little vials, you get a powder and a liquid. You mix it together, and then it has to be refrigerated. Okay? That means wherever you go, make sure there's a refrigerator. So if you go to a hotel, look it up and make sure there's a little refrigerator in the hotel. Most hotels, unless you're staying at a shithole dive hotel, they can bring in a medical fridge. If you ask for it, they'll bring it up to your room. Airbnb, obviously, will have fridges, so you don't have to worry about this. And then you have alternatives. Right now, I'm taking gonadorelin instead of HCG because The authoritarian Western governments don't like HCG at the moment, and they're trying to make it illegal, so it's getting harder to get and collapse the Western world. So anyway, I'm taking Gonadorelin, which is a substitute, and that the good news about that is it doesn't have to be refrigerated, which is kind of nice. So never had a problem with that. Just have a little pre-planning. When I do HGH, human growth hormone, I believe those pens, it's a pen like you inject like on Star Trek. I think they have to be refrigerated. So I'll have to go back to checking wherever I go has a refrigerator. But in my lifestyle, that's never a problem. So that's it. I've never really had a problem with this. Now, if you're really super worried about it, get the implant instead. You don't have to worry about this. It's fine. And the implant is not metal. It will not set up the metal detector. This is my understanding. It's my understanding. So there you go. Hang on one thing. Hang on a second. That's it on testosterone. I'm going to give you a supplemental topic to this, and I'll get to your questions. There's a procedure I'm going in for next week, and this is a perfect example of longevity, anti-aging, and the 2% rule. One of my favorite rules that makes everyone angry because everybody wants to be scared. So I am going in for my first next week on Tuesday, my first colonoscopy. Woo! Now, when you say colonoscopy, we make a bunch of jokes and we all laugh, and that's great. However, all of you, if you haven't yet got it, are going to get it. When you hit 45, man or woman, you got to go in for a colonoscopy. Why? Because you will have a certain percentage of people get polyps inside your colon, which is your large intestine. So they got to send a little stinky snake up there, and they check for these polyps. And if they have any, they just pop them off, and then you'll never get colon cancer. Pretty cool. I had to evaluate as to whether or not I needed to get this procedure. So what is now here's what I didn't do. I didn't say, well, everyone tells me I need to get it, so I better get it. No, doctors are full of shit. So no, I don't care what doctors say. I don't care what people say. Doctors all said I needed to wear a mask or I would die. Doctors are full of shit. So instead of just following societal programming, I do my own research. I look at, per the 2% rule, what is the percentage probability that I will get colon cancer? And there's a real answer. I don't know if any of you know this. Put in the chat if you know this. What is the percentage of people who eventually get colon cancer by age 50? The number is 6%. Okay. So the 2% rule states if it is under 2%, ignore it. Don't worry about it. Proceed. Don't worry about it. If you do worry about it, you're literally a psychopath. Okay. You should be in an insane asylum. I can't go outside. A meteorite might come out of the sky, hit me in the head. You're insane. All right. It also states if it is more than 2%, even if the odds are low, like 3%, 4%, 5%, you do need to take this into account. So 6% is more than 2%. It's still very low, but it is more than 2%, which means, all right, fuck, I got to go get it. And I'm actually, here's the other thing. I have my grandfather, my mother's side, died of colon cancer at a young age, mid-60s. Young means under the age of life expectancy, which is 79. He died when he was like 65, many years ago. It's a long time ago. So technically, I have this in my family, sort of. And because it's a cancer thing, it could be genetic. I think it is actually genetic. Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, that's how he died. He had polyps. Now, he had them unusually early in life, like when he was 30. And then it became cancerous. He didn't tell anybody. And he died when he was, 36 or whatever. So that's weird. You need to go get a colonoscopy by the time you hit 45. So I'm about to turn 52. I'm late on this. If you know my content, my life, my story, I've been a little busy last 3 years with all my 5 flag stuff. But I'm getting around to it. I'm going next Tuesday. Okay. So I looked at the data, looked at the statistics, got the 6%, and said, okay, let's do it. How much does a colonoscopy cost? In the United States, it's going to cost around $1,600 plus the cost of the pharmaceuticals. In Dubai, it's only $1,200 because Dubai is awesome. So I'm going to be $1,200 here in Dubai with all the costs in there. I'll be in it. And in Dubai, because Dubai is awesome, you get the fucking doctor's email address and the doctor's text WhatsApp numbers. You can text the doctor whenever you want. Try doing that in the US. It's awesome. Dubai's better, as usual. So I'm getting that done next Tuesday, which means I have to fast all day on Monday, but I'm fasting already now, so it's not a big deal. Which means when I do the Unchained CEO, here's what you got to do. This is the fun part. There's another reason I've been putting this off. The day before, when you go to bed, before you go to bed, you got to drink this crap and it like cleans you out, if you know what I'm saying. So it's going to be interesting on Monday when I do the Unchained CEO live stream podcast. I will be in the midst of drinking that shit. Hopefully I will not have to pause and say, excuse me for 2 minutes. I have to go to the bathroom. Little TMI, but we'll see what happens on Monday. I think I should be okay, but you never know. I'll have to announce on Monday, hey, just to be aware, I might need to leave for 2 or 3 minutes. Just to let you know, okay? Going in for a procedure tomorrow. Yes, isn't this fun? It's great. Getting older is fun. It's awesome. Now, here's the thing. Last thing about colonoscopies. You're all going to get this. If you're young, you won't get it yet, but you will. And if you old fuckers, most of you old fuckers already have them. My brother already got one, and he's younger than I am. What was I going to say about this? Oh, here's like what I'm hoping for on Tuesday. If they go in and there's no polyps, then you have to get another colonoscopy in 10 years. And you get them every 10 years for the rest of your life post age 45. Just it's one of those things you do. If they find polyps, I don't know if they find certain kind of polyps or not. I'm not sure about that. But if they find them, the kind that get cancerous, even if they find one, they'll pop it off. You're okay. But if they find any in me, I'm going to have to go back to get a colonoscopy every 3 years, which is going to suck ass, literally. Because it wipes out a day of work because they drug you up a little bit. They don't, it's not full anesthesia, but they knock you out. So on Tuesday, I'm going to be a little, so it's going to wipe out a day of work. Great. I got to do this. So hopefully, I'm hoping, my fingers are crossed, that I have a nice, clean colon. We'll find out. And I'll let you know on next Wednesday on this Alpha 2.0 podcast what my results were. But there you go. Okay. That's it. These are fun topics, aren't they? Talking about buttholes. All right, let me go to your questions. Let's see here. Wow, a lot of people in this live stream. Jesus, look at all the fucking questions. I say that every time, don't I? Wow, look at all the questions. Let me take a drink of water first. Hang on. Before we get to your sex questions, you barbarians. You're not supposed to have premarital sex. Doesn't it say that in the Bible? Actually, hilariously, I don't think it does. I think just Christians say it. All right. Let's see. What is your opinion on Nietzsche? You seem to have many similarities in that you both reject God, yes, and think that people should create their own values and form their own beliefs. Yeah, I agree with about. Now, I don't agree with him. He was a whackball in his personal life, but in terms of his philosophy, what he said, yes, at least 60%. I agree. Yeah, a lot of agreement, a lot of strong disagreement, but yes, 60%. My favorite philosopher is Bertrand Russell. That's almost 100% agreement on him. But yeah, 60%. Out of all the collapsing countries, which one do you currently think is out of all the collapsing countries, which one currently do you think is the craziest? Of the collapsing Western countries, that's a good question. What's the craziest? I'm going to say probably right this second, and this will change year to year, Canada. Probably Canada is the craziest, like the most wacko. They're all crazy. They're all insane. That's why I call Canada what? Cuckoo Canada. So here's my nicknames. Collapsing USA. Been saying this for years. Collapsing USA. Cuckoo Canada, because it's crazy. You guys just saluted a Nazi. Then I say suicidal Europe, because it is. Oh my God. Germany in particular, but a lot of those Scandinavia, Europe wants to destroy itself because it has this guilt. Then I say, since COVID, since the pandemic, fucking YouTube, I call it authoritarian Australia. So they're all crazy, but right now I'd probably say maybe Canada. I don't know. When Billy called your dating models random fuckery, I laughed so hard. When are you guys going to debate? It's a must. We'll do it. That'd be fun. We'll do it. I'll do it when Billy's in a good mood. So we'll do it. I don't know when. Good idea to travel to Belarus to bang women. No tourists there because of the war. You could say that about many countries. Belarus, if you're just looking to like one night stands, sure. Belarusian women equal Russian women. And you know what I said about Russian women? Go to my blog. I have an entire article about why I stopped dating Russian women, with rare exception. So you got to be, it's a whole different, Russian women are an entirely different category of women on their own. And most guys can't handle it unless you love drama. And Belarusian women equal Russian women. There's no difference. It's not like Ukrainian women, because they're different. There's some similarities, but they're a lot more mellow and nice. How long are you fasting for? What's your routine? I don't know if I want to talk about that, because I don't want people copying this, because you don't have the problem that I have. I'll say it really quick. I drink salt water. It's the snake diet, if you guys know what that is. So it's salt water with electrolytes, salt, potassium chloride, and baking soda. I drink that all day. I eat nothing else. I do that for 1 full day or 2 full days. So yesterday I did 2 full days. Remind me, I'll talk about this in more detail on another podcast. That's such a big topic. I'll talk about that on another Alpha 2 podcast. We should discuss that. Yeah. No, I'm not fasting because of Ramadan. That is purely coincidental, because everyone's fasting here in Dubai. It's Ramadan. Even non-Muslims, because non-Muslims like Islam. It's not like I've talked about this. Islam is a better sales pitch. Some psychologists suggest that if a couple's been married for years but not having sex, or is engaging in sex with others, it may be indicative of issues in their relationship. That's like saying some experts suggest that 2 + 2 = 4. I'm planning a trip to Venezuela to run sugar daddy game. You're going to Venezuela? Good luck. Okay. You're brave. That's cool. Women are gorgeous there. Yeah. Do you have any advice, and how crazy am I? Well, if you're younger, I don't think you're that crazy. If you are under 35 and you take all the precautions, that's a big if, then I don't think you're crazy, but you're just adventurous. It's okay. Even sexologists, psychologists unaware of the fact that monogamy is unnatural. Well, most of those sexologists agree that monogamy isn't natural. That's rare. I've not seen a single psychologist. Oh, you said sexologist. Psychologist, that's different. Not seen a single psychologist say that they always say something wrong. They always say something wrong with relationship. Yes. Most psychologists default to monogamy. However, in the modern era, in the Western world, I don't know what country you live in, United States, Western Europe, Canada, you can find plenty of therapists who have lots of experience with non-monogamous couples. I mean, Pink Firefly and I see a therapist. We don't right now because she retired, but I've talked about this. As soon as Pink Firefly moved in, I mandated we see a therapist once every month or so, just to keep the relationship good. And it's very easy to find therapists. You say, hey, we're non-monogamous. Well, they say, are you polyamorous? No, we're not poly, but we're non-monogamous. And they have plenty of experience in it. What was your testosterone level at 20? No idea. I never tested it. I was too stupid. I was 20. I didn't know this stuff. Mine was between 650 and 700. Was that too low? If you're 20 and it was 650 or 700, then you do what I said earlier. You treat the symptom. How do you feel? You feel great? It's probably okay. A little low, yeah, but 650, 700 is not like, oh my God, that's okay. Because what I say, 700 to 1200, right? So you're in the striking distance. So if you're 650 to 700 and you got symptoms, that's too low. If you're 650 to 700, you're 22 years old, but you feel great, you're good. Have you run sugar daddy game in third world countries? Define third world countries. Have I run sugar daddy games in emerging market countries like Paraguay? Yes. It's not really a third world country. I don't go to Africa. Have you found it to be easier and cheaper? Sugar daddy game is always easy because you're paying for it. Cheaper? Absolutely. Yes, of course. Way cheaper. Follow-up questions from last week. I will not remember what you said last week. Meaning, if having sex with a tall woman doing doggy standing, she will have to squat and the man have to tippy toe. Is it a good idea to wear shoe lifts? How old are you? Are you really young? God. You're cute. There are 20 million women more in America. How do we solve that without polygamy? Stop caring about society. Society can go fuck itself. It doesn't care about you. Focus on yourself. What does this say? Read that and say it aloud when you read it. Okay. If you're listening to the podcast, it says, fix yourself, not the world. You're trying to fix the world. We don't care about the world. Fix yourself. My doctor had me on cycle pills that skyrocketed my T to 1421. That's too high. NGD. Yep. And free T to 24. I stopped taking them 3 weeks ago. I know it's too high, but if I stop taking them, my T tanks to 14. Get a better doctor. Your doctor is an idiot. Your doctor should be able to adjust that with you. Talk to your doctor. Talk to your doctor and tell him this. If he goes, then get a new doctor. There's people in the world that you'll never meet. Is it because the universe never intended to meet these people? Are people we meet is a part of meaning of life? I don't think so. I don't believe in destiny. So I believe possibly in simulation theory. I believe in a superconscious mind. I believe in intelligent design. I believe in a few things that you can't detect with science or five senses, but I don't believe in destiny, like you were meant to meet this person. I don't believe in that. Could be wrong, but that's not what I believe. Dan Pena is 70 plus. Yes. And he says he's off the chart on testosterone levels. I'm sure he is. I would believe he is. Tate says similar. Obviously, Tate and Dan Pena are both high T guys, just like I am. Yes. You can tell when a man is high T. You can tell. Right? You can tell I'm higher T, right? You can tell Andrew Tate's higher T. You can tell Dan Pena's higher T. That's all true. Being angry and drinking a lot of coffee substantially boosts testosterone levels. No. I don't know about coffee. I've never seen that data. If you're telling me coffee boosts testosterone, you just show me a link to that data and I will look. I doubt you could come up with one. I think you're pulling something out of your ass. Being angry all the time does not boost testosterone. It hurts testosterone. There is such thing as, to address what I said earlier, there are high T men, alpha male 1.0s, both of which are Andrew Tate and Dan Pena extreme 1.0s, who scream and rant a lot. That does happen. They're out there, yes. I would estimate that both Andrew Tate and Dan Pena likely have T levels past 1200 for whatever reasons. And in both those cases, the odds are very good they're taking something. Certainly Tate is taking something. Pena's probably taking something because he's so old. So they're probably taking something that's kicking their T way up past 1200. And so they're ranting and screaming all the time. Likely. I'm not making accusations. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm just giving you a guess. But my guess is that's what's going on. But it is possible, sure. What's your thoughts on using cold plunge plus post? Say fly on my microphone. Cold plunge plus post exercise to increase testosterone. Thomas P. Sanger, a guy in his 50s, increases testosterone over 1,000 only with that method, no TRT. Because his testosterone was probably 900, he increased it by 100 points, which is not hard. And he could easily done that by other things, other lifestyle changes he made. So I'm not a doctor. My guess is it helped it a little. Sure. It didn't go from his testosterone. I promise you, he didn't get 500 points by just having cold showers. No. He might have gotten 50 or 60 or 80 or 100, maybe. You can end up with low iron by donating blood too often. That becomes its own negatives. Then what do you think I do? I test my blood twice a year. Once every 8 months, I look at my iron. My iron's fine. You just check it. I'm not saying donate blood. And by the way, you can't donate blood. Most healthy humans cannot donate blood too often. Your blood donation center won't let you. So when you donate blood, they'll say you can't come back here for 57 days minimum. Okay. So it's not a big deal. No. Some relationship advisors say that if we do this, this fly is starting to like irritate me. I feel like those two guys in that Breaking Bad episode with that fly. Get out of there, motherfucker. I'm going to kill you. Where is he? Fuck off. Why do you like my microphone so much? Is there food in there? This fucking fly. Okay, he's gone. He better not come back. I'll kill you. I'll kill him. I'll kill a bitch. All right. That's my T talking. I'll kill a bitch. I will say this about having high testosterone but below 1200. Frank Grillo, one of my favorite celebrities, he's talked about this. When you're high T but healthy, so like when you're over 1,000, but you're below that 12, where you're where I am, and some guy wants to fight you, hey, motherfucker, and he like comes up to you, wants to fight you, most guys go, oh, shit, and they cower, right? When you're high T, you're like, yes, let's go. There's a little part of you that's like a Klingon, like you want to get into a fight. Like, yeah. I've had that a few times. High T. So So if you want to come beat me up, please. We'll both go to the hospital. I'll have a great time. My wife will be pissed, but she can deal. All right, sorry. Some relationship advisors say that if we do this, you can bring back passionate sex, even if that relationship is decades older. Is that a scam? Do you think that is possible? Extremely possible? Yes. Very difficult. You can bring back passion in a long dead monogamous live-in relationship. Yes, it's very difficult. Odds are against you, but it's possible. Sure. I'm 36 and I've gotten horrible sleep for as long as I can remember. Would that get a doctor to give me TRT? You could look at that first. Get your TRT tested, see what it is first. Get the blood test, see what it is. If it's super low, then yes. But I would also talk to a sleep specialist and I get an Oura ring and do everything I've talked about. No blue light in the evening, all the techniques I've talked about in my books. Do all the techniques. I don't know how much you've tried. Try all the techniques. If none of them work, get a sleep specialist. And yes, if your T is super low for your age, go in and not for your age. If your T is super low, regardless of your age, go in and talk to a TRT doctor. Yes. What do you think about test cream to apply on your ball? I already answered that. Is 12 hours of sleep too much? Yes, way too much. What the fuck? Are you making jokes? Any health issues? Yes. You will have health issues if you sleep 12 hours a day. Yes, you will. 7 to 8. Some weirdos need 9. No more than 9. There are some weirdos who need 9, but the range is usually 7 to 8 for most humans. 9 for a few weirdos, not 6, not past 9. Most usually not even past 8.5. I do 8.5, 8.5 to I do 8 hours and 30 minutes to 8 hours, 15 minutes, depending on what I'm doing. Okay. Jesus Christ, my mouse. I'm having all kinds of technical problems today. I'm 43 and been on eclendomyphene. I don't know what that is. For over a year, raised my test way up from 650 to 650 from 225, and I feel great. Cool. I don't know what that is. I'm new to that. Okay. I do not like needles, so took this option. That sounds great. Do you have to take estrogen blockers? Because I do. I'd be curious. But that's awesome. I don't know what that is. Enclomiphene? I don't know how to say it. Some doctor's making fun of me right now, but cool. That's great, dude. Awesome. Good for you. Excellent. Fantastic. Do women get jealous of men when they are dating attractive women? Yes. I told the story about my wife. When I was in Dubai the first time and I came back home and she said, "Can I see some pictures of your FBs in your other countries?" I said, "Sure." And I showed her some pictures. She's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." They were like too hot. Yeah. There's the only time she ever got jealous. Yeah, they do. That's called a quality problem. You can't have a life without problems. You can't have a life where you have high quality problems. A low quality problem is I can't pay my electric bill. A high quality problem is my super hot wife gets a little jealous when I bang super hot chicks to the side because I have a non-monogamous marriage. High quality problem, low quality problem. So I guess that burst the bubble of people talk about semen retention. Okay. Ben Mala, the real estate man, said that he does not like Dubai as too many rules and control on the Strike It Big podcast. Thoughts? What he says is completely out of date. He is talking about Dubai from 2010, which is 99.9% of the arguments about Dubai. Dubai sucks because, and they'll say something that happened in Dubai in 2010, 2011, 2012, when Dubai did suck. Today, no, I have more freedom and you will have more freedom living in Dubai, the United States. You don't believe me? Ask some of my clients who have moved here recently. They're like, holy shit. So incorrect. Do you think Christianity will come back to the West? No, Christianity's gone. Goodbye. That's like saying, do you think the West will turn this around? No. Have you ever been in a situation where you've been out with an MLTR and you've seen another FB or MLTR and you've had before you've had the talk with them? Before I had the talk, I've had that happen. Yeah, I've talked about my blogs when I was in Portland, because Portland's kind of a small city. Before I've had the talk, I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. If you react nervous, then she'll be nervous. If you get pissed or like, oh shit, if you play it off like it's no big deal, it'll be no big deal. Unless she's over 33, then you're fucked. But in this case, they weren't. If your girlfriend gets fat, give her the ultimatum to lose weight, or you are leaving unless you are a chubby chaser. Thoughts? Girlfriend or wife? So there's a difference in my view. If your wife gets overweight, she's an OLTR wife, and here's my standard answer if it's a wife. I've been asked this before. Caleb, if you had a wife, what if she got really fat? What would you do? If it's an OLTR wife and you're having sex with a woman whenever you want, and she gets overweight, and everything else, the relationship is perfect, because that is not typical, but it can happen. She's a wonderful mother. You get along great. She's a fantastic person. You still love her. Fine. You're not going to have sex with her anymore because she's too fat, but you'll fuck all your girls. And that's her decision. She can lose weight and you have to start having sex again. Fine. Girlfriend, I wouldn't have a fat girlfriend. No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. Now, here's the thing. I don't give ultimatums. Alpha male 2.0s do not tell women what to do. Instead, you would say something like, I'm a man. I have to be physically aroused in order to have sex, sweetheart. You're a girl. You don't. That's why they invented lube. So women do not have to be physically aroused in order to engage in sex, but we men do. And you're starting to gain a lot of weight. I love you. You're wonderful. I'm having a hard time getting aroused. So if you keep on this path, I won't be able to have sex with you anymore. I can't have a girlfriend that I'm having sex with. You can do whatever you want. I'm just letting you know how I feel about it. And then you watch and see what she does. Then the ball's in her court. You don't say, you will do this or else. That's Andrew Tate, Alpha Male 1.0. That's if you don't want happiness. If you want to be happy, the Alpha 2.0 states preferences instead of gives orders. If you give orders, you're going to get a bunch of pushback and drama and conflict. Rich men want thin chicks. All men want thin chicks or curvy, not overweight chicks. I don't like thin, skinny girls, but I like fit, trim, curvy girls. But all men, with the exception of chubby chasers. Are you denying there's chubby chasers? Oh, you're the same guy. Never mind. Okay. If a woman rejects you, she's basically saying she wants you to die. Okay. Have you caught someone having sex? Any stories? I don't understand the question. Why would I catch someone having sex in my own house? I understand. As women embrace their virginity moment, oh boy, some are becoming increasingly opposed to feminism. Do you believe this shift indicates a resurgence of traditional values in society? No. Are you the same guy I asked about Christianity? You are. Okay. Let me explain something to you. When Gen Z came on board many years ago, I had all these right-wingers and all these Republicans and all these Trump nerds and all these Christians go on my blogs and say, Caleb, Gen Z is conservative. They're going to turn this country around. Everything's okay. The millennials, yeah, they're all assholes. They're all socialists and dumb fucks. Gen Z, they're our people. They're one of us. It's going to be great. And I did a whole article saying Gen Z is not conservative. And I showed all the stats. The stats were that Gen Z, this is like 2017. This is before it got really bad with Gen Z. Okay, this is back in the day. I said Gen Z, according to all the data, is more left-wing than the millennials. They just go to church a little more often. So all these right-wingers said, they're more conservative. They were totally wrong. You're doing the same thing. Maybe, Caleb, maybe this will happen. Maybe women will turn against feminism. That is not happening. Far more young women are embracing feminism than turning against it. It's a tiny fraction of people against a plurality majority of people. You are wrong. I'm sorry. The West is fucked. You need to leave. I don't like it, but that's the reality. And let me say it as I've said this 10,000 times. There's no one you can vote for to fix this. Trump can't fix this. Even if he wanted to, and he doesn't. But if he could, even if he was able to, he couldn't. I'm considering moving to Montevideo. Billy and I will be there. And everything seems great, except maybe the women. How hot are they? How much ASD? And what's their view on sex in general? It's South America, so ASD is lower. So don't worry about ASD. You're fine. Women in Montevideo are not that great. They're not ugly. They're not that great. You got to go to Punta del Este, which is the resort town. They're a little hotter there, which is like, 2 hours from Montevideo? And then certainly you can go right over to Buenos Aires. A lot of hot chicks there. But Montevideo is not a great place to get laid. Are there some pretty girls? Yes. Yes. But walking around, no, not really. Do your Alpha 2.0 dating models work just as well in Montevideo and South America? Yes, perfectly. In general, as they do in the West, perfectly. Any differences? No, it's easier because they have less ASD. No, my models work everywhere except for certain parts of the Middle East, certain parts of Africa. Where else? Some isolated, really conservative country like Taiwan, they're a little more difficult. India, a little more like really conservative countries. Outside of that, they work all over the world. Hmm? What do I do if I have only 4-inch dick? Is there a solution for that? I wouldn't worry about it. Women don't know how big your dick is until you're already having sex with them. What would you do if someone tried to shame you by calling you a cuckold in front of your public or family? I'm outcome independent. I don't care. Anyone can say whatever I want or whatever they want. I do not care. Outcome independent. Stop giving a shit. How would you handle the situation? Would you resort to physical violence? You must be new to my content. No, the Alpha 2.0 doesn't care what people say. You don't care. No, I would never resort to violence for anything someone verbally said to me. No. You can call me any names you want. Don't care. I'll kick you off the channel, but I don't care. Doesn't bother me. I'll kick you off the channel because it'll fuck up the conversation. I don't care. You can insult my wife. You can insult my kids. Don't care because I'm outcome independent. I don't care what other people think. So I've had scenarios where people call me something in front of other people. Don't care. I just smiled and said, that's great. You're so cute. Many people, especially on the right, say that with many sexual partners, future pair bonding can be impaired by screwing up their oxytocin system. Does this concern have any merit? Read The Unchained Man, which is coming out. The new version is coming out in about 48 hours. Or go buy the old version, $7 at, where's the old version? alphamalebook.com. Get the new version at unchainedman.io. I go through all those studies. I'll try to summarize as best I can. What these guys are talking about, so usually right-wing red pill guys, you're right. What they're talking about is the odds of divorce are higher if she's fucked a lot of guys. The problem is the terminology a lot. What is a lot? If you look into the data, there's only been 2 studies on it, and it was not the number of women that these men, not the number of men the women fucked, it was the number of men they moved in with before you. Problem number 1. Problem number 2, there's no statistical difference between a woman who, in terms of maintaining a long-term relationship with you, there's no statistical difference at all between a woman who's been with 0, 1, or 2, or 3 guys than a woman who's been with like 20 guys. There's no difference. There's no difference. Now, when you get to a woman who's like fucked 100 guys, then there's a difference. Now here's the thing. Are you going to go marry a woman who's fucked 100 guys? Probably not. So none of it is relevant. It's just not relevant. And again, as I've said 10,000 times, on a first date, you shouldn't care about any of this stuff. I don't care about any men a woman is fucked. I'm not going to marry her. She's probably going to be an FB. Who cares? Wear a good condom. I believe countries like Mexico and Thailand can buy pharmaceutical graded test and HCG. Thoughts? It's not as easy as you're saying. There's a lot of loopholes and you don't know what you're getting. And yes, but you can get stuff from Canada. I can get stuff shipped, but again, how do you know it's good? Is it coming from a reputable pharmacy? What are you putting in your body? You're injecting something in your body. You need to be sure what the fuck it is, where it's coming from. But yes, there's ways you can do this internationally. You're right. True. I just like to be careful because I only get one body. If I fuck up this body, I can't go get another one. Even if you raise your test naturally, have a couple of nights of poor sleep, and your test will drop. Take test exogenely, you're still going to have high test. True. But in that scenario, your test drops for just a day and it's back up again. That's why when you test your testosterone, you can't do something like, so you guys getting your testosterone checked, don't have sex right before you check your T. It's going to fuck your T up. It's going to make it higher or lower. I forget which one. Don't check your testosterone if you've had a horrible night's sleep the night before. You only have 3 hours of sleep. Don't do that. Like when I got mine checked, I have to wait many days since it's been me doing an injection, because then I can't inject my testosterone needle, then check my T the next day. It won't work. I got to wait like 4 days. What's the half-life? Yeah, 4 days. So you're right. 20 years old. I'm 20 years old. No bragging. We'll see. But I'm super fit. I have business doing 7 figures. Cool. Moved to Dubai. high performance guy, ambitious, feel good, etc. What are the odds that I have T levels under 800? I don't know. If you feel great, it doesn't really matter. I would still check it. If you feel great and you're 20, you don't need to worry about this. I will definitely get a test just to be sure. You get them in Dubai really easy if you're in Dubai, man. But let's say it's less than 800. Should I go on TRT as 20 years old? No. I don't know if you just came in late. No, you don't treat the number, you treat the symptom. So if you feel fucking fantastic, you feel great all the time. Energy, motivated, dick works great during sex, everything's great. And your testosterone is 600, fine. Fine. This upcoming Sunday marks the 29th anniversary of the death of the singer Selena, as she was murdered in 1995 by her friend in Texas, as the friend was stealing money of the businesses with caught. Thoughts? I don't care. How to find friends or employees that are trusted and won't do evil things to you, like stealing or commit murder to you. You need to watch my video on the 2% rule. You're being insane. I'm a nice guy and a beta. Feel like I can be taken advantage of. You're not going to hire anyone who's going to kill you. 2% rule, 2% rule, 2% rule. Watch the video on the 2% rule. Should I learn boxing to get confidence, remove fear? It is my strong recommendation. It's almost an Alpha Male 2.0 requirement. I go back and forth on whether I make this an official Alpha Male 2.0 requirement. I go back and forth on it. Either it's a requirement or it's strongly recommend for every one of you men to do some form of physical, I can't talk, some form of physical combat. Yes, UFC, martial arts, boxing, whatever you want. Get in a ring and fight. I did martial arts for years, and it's so beneficial on so many levels. Joe Rogan is right about this. Yes, all of you should do it. My son did it. He did UFC, or he did MMA, excuse me. I did Korean karate because I was back in the 80s the way I did Tang Soo Do, which is a horrible form of karate, but I didn't know that at the time. But I did full contact. And this was the 80s when no one cared about child safety. I talk about this in my books. Full contact. You sit in a ring. It's not a ring. It's a circle. And you have no pads. You do this for your belt test. And the guy just comes at you. I mean, I got bloody. It was great. Yes, it'll help you be a man. Absolutely. Strongly recommend all you guys do this, including you older fuckers. What if I'm 57 and I never do? You can do it. You can go take a karate class. You're 57. Go for it, dude. If I had more time, I would do it. I'd get 2 black belts. I don't have time. But yeah, and I already did it. The only reason didn't get the black, I've told the story, my karate teacher skipped town. He was accused of RAPE, and suddenly one day he was just gone. I'm like, oh, great. Well, what's Dubai like during Ramadan? Oh, man, there's no one at the restaurants during the day. It's great. The malls are crowded at night. At night, everything gets crowded because everyone goes out to eat. During the day, I went today. This is my once a week fun event for me because I hate movies. You can't see movies anymore because movies suck because Hollywood sucks now. Dune 2 is good. Okay, there's one movie I've last 2 or 3 years. So I go to the planetarium. You guys know what that is? So they have a really cool planetarium here in Dubai. It's in Sharjah. I was over there, and bro, there was like 6 people in there. It was great. It's almost like the pandemic. Not quite like that. But you go to restaurants, you get right in. Great. Ramadan's. Now, here's the problem with Ramadan. If you want to do anything with the government, it's going to take 3-4 weeks longer. So if you're like renewing your residency, you're getting your corporation done, it's a nightmare because they don't work. They do work, but they don't work very hard. That's the problem. So I make sure every calendar year I know when Ramadan is coming, and I make sure not to do any governmental or banking shit during that month because it's going to be a nightmare. But that's great. Gonadorelin is an awful compound. It's awful compared to HCG. For it to be effective, you would need IV to gonadorelin. Yes, it's not as effective. You're correct. I can tell it's not as effective. It's still good. It's not as effective. I have no other options. I have no other easy options. So the way it goes. Other than colonoscopy, what other medical procedures should one get to ensure one lives as long as possible? Depends on how much money you make. So what you need to do if you have money, I'm going to do this. If not this year, the next year, you should do the Mayo Clinic full day testing thing. I forget the name of it. You go to the Mayo Clinic and you're there all day. It costs like $4,000. You're there and they test everything from the top of your head down to your feet. They do CT scans of your lungs and your heart. They do blood tests. They check your eyes, your nose, your ears. They do all this stuff that anti-aging guy does. What's his name? I always forget his name. That skinny anti-aging guy on YouTube. They do everything. You do the oxygen test. They do everything. And they get this full report on exactly, where you're doing well, what you're doing poorly. They do a genome test. They do everything. They tell you exactly what you need to do to increase your lifespan. It's awesome. I'm going to do that. Been wanting to do that for a few years, but again, I've been busy. I've been traveling shit. My 5 flags. Now it's not. I can do that stuff. So if not this year, it won't be this year. Next year, I'm going to do it. There's all kinds of things you do. I should have a doctor on one of these days. If a woman wants to play a dominatrix, does it have consequences for your frame of relationship? No. I've said this many times. During sex, there's no rules. During sex between two consenting adults, there's no rules. So guys will say, well, if I like a woman to dominate me and spit on me and call me a slave and whip me, does that mean I'm not alpha? During sex, there's no rules. After sex is over, you go right back to being alpha. And there's some guys like this. They're like big time CEOs who like to be whipped and tied up. And if that's you like during sex, it's okay. Same thing with, I'll give you an inverse. These strong, independent women, these dominant, strong, independent, feministy women over 33 who love to take charge. A lot of those women love to be called a little slut and a little whore during sex. You call them outside during sex, you're going to get sued. But during sex, they love it because during sex is different. I've said this many times, during sex, only during sex, I am an alpha male 1.0. I'm worse than Andrew Tate during sex. I tell women exactly what to fucking do. You'll fucking do it. Only during sex. As soon as sex is over, I'm back to chill, relax, do whatever you want. Don't care. I'll come independent. So the answer is no. Remember, during sex, not anything else. You don't want a woman dominating you outside of sex. That's where the problems start. If you are 40 in LA having trouble with online dating after some successes, LA is tough. Anywhere in Southern California is tough. LA is not as bad as San Francisco, but it's tough. Would you venture out to day game or night game, or would you keep grinding online? I don't know how much effort you put in online dating. I have a feeling you haven't put enough in. So I'd keep the online dating. I would up the effort for a few more weeks. I have a feeling you haven't put enough effort. And then after a few weeks of busting your ass, you get nowhere, then yes, I would do day game, but I'm an old man. I don't know how old you are. Oh, 40. You're 40, day game. Mm-hmm. Regarding your colonoscopy, did you feel any symptoms around your stomach? No, I have no symptoms. I'm very healthy. No. Or you just do it because you feel like someone age should do it. I told you, you didn't hear me. I don't feel like I should do it. Watch the replay of this video as to exactly the scientific based reasons why I did this. Andrew Tate says cigars and coffee boost testosterone. Well, then it must be accurate because Andrew Tate can never be wrong. Everything he says is scientifically accurate. What was the biggest factor enabling you to transition from beta to alpha 2.0 many years ago? Not many betas ever do it. Well, most betas don't realize it's an option and they don't know how to do it. So it's an oversimplification to say that most betas never become alphas. Most betas have never seen me. Here's the exact steps you can do to go from beta to alpha. Oh, really? They don't know. Now, there's a strong percentage that see my stuff and go, I don't want to do that. That's too hard. My girlfriend might yell at me. That's different. What's the biggest factor? I don't know if there was. Yeah, there was. Let me think a minute. What was the biggest factor in me going from beta to alpha to? I want to be happy. That's my number one objective in life is long-term happiness. I want to be happy. I'm the opposite of Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate wants to be mad and screaming the rest of his life and go to prison and stuff. I want to be happy and be a free man, do whatever I want. And I knew being a beta would not make me happy. That was it. Number one. You will not be, as I've talked about in books in great detail, you will never be long-term happy if you're a beta male. It's not possible. You can have little isolated moments when you play a really cool video game. Yes, but you're not going to be happy as a consistent state that I have and that alpha male 2.0s have. You'll never have that. You've got to convert to alpha 2.0 or bare minimum 1.0. You'll be more happy as 1.0 than a beta. I'd much rather you be Andrew Tate than Poindexter Yes, but that's why. Nicotine can lower SHBG, which will slightly raise free T. Caffeine raises cortisol, which is bad for testosterone. That makes a little more sense. But again, whenever someone makes contentions like this, I need to see links. That sounds more accurate to what the other guy said. Yeah. Andrew Tate said, my favorite questions and comments. Andrew Tate said, they always start with Andrew Tate. It used to be Roosh, Caleb Roosh said. Then it was Caleb Jordan Peterson said. Now it's Caleb Andrew Tate said. At some point, it'll be someone. The next one will be, in 2 or 3 years, it'll be Vivek Ramaswamy. Caleb. Vivek Ramaswamy said. And then it'll be someone after that, someone after that, someone after that, until your country collapses. Andrew Tate said on Valuetainment interview that he does not trust a man who has no women or no money, as they will sell you out eventually. Is this a good principle in making friends? No. But, however, do you want to make friends with guys who have no money and no women? I mean, don't you have better guys to hang out with? What do you think of native oral testosterone? Encyclomin is a good alternative. The guy, watch the replay. There was a guy who just did that, whatever that is. I don't know what that is. And he got good results. Yes. I don't know anything about it. Have you seen a man dating a woman that looks like your wife? If so, how do you feel? Lots of women have the Barbie blonde, platinum blonde look. So lots of women look like that template. I'll tell you a quick story. When I first announced many years ago, should I tell this story or not? Yeah, I'll tell the story. When I first announced many years ago that I was getting engaged to Pink Firefly, we're going to have an OLTR marriage, a bunch of guys thought she was someone else, a famous, who was semi-famous back then on the internet, an internet model. This is not an Instagram model so much because that was a big thing back then. And the reason they thought that is because she looked a lot like Pink Firefly. I mean, I could almost say her name. I won't, because then you guys will Google her. But I'm like, no, that's not Pink Firefly. I'm not saying I don't know anything else about this person, but that's not Pink Firefly. So look a lot like Pink Firefly. Like, wow, that looks like Pink Firefly. No, but there's a lot of women out there who have the skinny size 0 body with the giant fake double D, and Pink Firefly has triple D tits with the long blonde Barbie. The Barbie look, which is fucking hot as hell. I love that. But not like, oh, wow, she looks like my wife. No. I've been with many women who had that look. That's what I like. If I thought she looked like my wife, I wouldn't care. If you saw a woman that looked like a clone of Pink Firefly, would you still game her? Would that be funny once your wife sees her? No. Here's the thing about women. Okay. Women who are partially bisexual or whatever, which Pink Firefly is not, but she likes to watch me have sex with other women. Speaking generally, there are always exceptions. Women are attracted to other women who look like them. There's a little secret. So if she's a cute little Asian girl, she'll like other cute little Asian girls. If she's a Barbie blonde with big tits, she will be super attracted to Barbie blondes with big tits. If she's like a bigger, taller woman with like long brown hair, she'll be into bigger, taller women with long brown hair. Women are attracted to women who kind of look like them. It's weird. There are some exceptions, but that's the overall rule. So no, Pink Firefly, if I bring someone home, if I say, hey, let's play with her, want to watch me play with her, and it looks kind of like her, she'll be like, hell yeah. Or she'll be, she's too pretty. That could happen too. Again, quality problem. Do you drink any decaf tea or coffee? Do you mean decaf coffee? No, decaf coffee tastes like ass. Decaf tea, yes. Chamomile. Love chamomile. Just had some last Sunday. I was out at one of the fancy hotel resorts down the street here. Had some nice chamomile tea. It was very nice. Have you ever fought a guy who was bothering PF? No. No one has ever fucked with PF in my presence. There was one scenario a few years ago where a guy did fuck with her physically. Not something horrible, but she was in a public place with some of her girlfriends. But I wasn't there. That's why he did it. He wouldn't have done it if I was there. So I've never had that. And I wanted to kill this guy. And I don't know. The problem is I don't know who this is. It wasn't someone who we knew. I would have killed him. But so, no, that's never happened because I'm big. No one's going to do that. The only guys who would fuck with Pink Firefly physically in front of me would be someone who was very drunk. And I'm high tea. I would love to deck his ass. It'd be great. On your old podcast, I remember you said that because of advancements in technology, you believe we can all live to 100 to 150 years old. Yes, absolutely. Period. I've said this many times. Can you tell us more about it? Like, how do we achieve that? You need to do all the healthy bullshit I talk about. Okay. And then live long enough where the medical technology that will be invented before you die will extend your life. You will live well past 100 years, unless you're already very old. So will I. Unless you live a really unhealthy lifestyle. If you drink a lot, smoke a lot, you eat whatever you want, you're fucked. It's interesting. I was talking to a guy a few years ago, guy in his 60s, business owner, and him and I were talking. He's like, when you get into your 50s, you can see the men around you at your age group, the ones who didn't take care of themselves from 0 to 50, and the ones who did. The ones who did look good. They're strong, physically fit, lots of energy, living great lives. The ones who drank everything and smoked everything and did all the drugs they wanted and ate whenever they ate all the pizza they wanted and didn't really focus on exercise, they look like shit. They look like crap. They get tired. They have health problems. They complain about their back like an old man. So just don't do that stuff. And then medical technology, and then make a lot of money so you can afford the medical technology that is coming in your lifetime. That's it. That's the. Do you listen to subliminal audio? No, I listen to audio you can actually hear, which is better. So I have affirmations in my phone and I turn them on low so you can actually hear them, and I just listen to them as I get ready in the morning. Those are better. What's your thoughts on no-fap semen retention? I've talked about this many times. I think I'm not an expert on this. I've never had an issue with this. My layman's opinion is if you have a real serious fucking problem, you're masturbating 2-3 times a day, you're super addicted to porn, it probably makes sense to do that for a while. If you're the normal average guy who jerks off a few times a week, watches porn every once in a while, and you're getting laid, you're probably fine. You don't need to do it. Probably overkill, in my opinion. I could be wrong. It's not my area. I have a height MLTR that is impossible to upgrade to OLTR, high-end MLTR. I love her. I'm planning to escape from the collapsing Western world soon. Good. What would you advise to manage my pain when I leave her? Oh, you're worried about your pain, not her pain? That's okay. Looks like you're English second language. This is fine. My standard advice: go have sex with one or two. Excuse me. Back up, Caleb. Wrong. Go have sex with 2 or more super hot girls as soon as you can after the end of the relationship. The problem with guys is they break up from a girl who is, quote, not like the rest, and then they sit around not having sex thinking about her all day. No, dumb fuck. Get your ass out there in the new city. If you're outside the collapsing West, it should be easier to get laid. Good for you. Go get some hot FBs who are younger than hotter than her, and you'll probably be okay. Not always, but probably. Hang on. Stupid mouse. Can you explain why Western stocks are in a bubble? That's a very complicated discussion. Here's the bottom line. Companies over the past several years have been borrowing money to buy back their own stocks. Number one, they buy back their own stocks, which creates an artificial demand for the stocks, which artificially boosts the stock. Number one. Number two, the reason that you haven't had rampant inflation, yes, you have inflation now, 6, 5, 6, 7%. The reason you haven't had like 30% inflation is that the economy, the people who run the economy, have pushed the inflation into assets such as the stock market and things like watches and art. So you see, and real estate, you see massive inflation in those sectors, including the stock market, that you don't see in the US dollar. If you had to line with a pre-made philosophy or school of thought besides Alpha Male 2.0, which would you choose, Stoicism or Solipsism? Stoicism is almost identical to Alpha Male 2.0. It's very, very compatible. So it'd probably be Stoicism. Sure. Hey, guess what? I signed up for a coaching service. Good. Cool. Just lost my passport on a plane. Ooh, that sucks. I'm sorry. Starting at the KOL airport. Oh my God. What would you say are the worst mistakes, if any, you've made when traveling internationally? I don't make those mistakes. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I don't make those mistakes. Every time when I'm traveling internationally, every time I get up and I have a bag with me, it's just a habit. I do this now when I get out of a taxi or an Uber. I grab my bag. I literally look in my bag and I look for 1, 2, 3, whatever the 1, 2, 3 items is. So wallet, key, passport, phone. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm good. And I walk. I don't just get up. I'm like paranoid about this shit. Or my passport's in my backpack in a certain compartment that never gets unzipped. And you should have this too, digital copies of your passport in your phone. So all my IDs, my passport, driver's license, residency cards, anything you can think of, I have digital pictures in my phone. So I can at least show someone. Do you want that too? But I just, I've never missed a flight. I don't think. I think I missed a flight once many years ago because I was working and listening to headphones and wasn't paying attention. I've done that. No, I just don't have those problems. I'm really careful. I work based on checklists. I never forget anything. I pack based on a checklist. Get my course, Travel Ace. I talk about how I pack with a checklist. I just, I can't afford those problems. If I lost my passport, I would be really serious. So I can't do it. Yay for me, it's 10K. What? Okay. Latina women, Ralph Mack, put all of your thing in one chat. Don't break it up. That's hard to read. I can't tell what you're saying. Latina women are curvy and can ride very well. Yes, generally speaking. I'm 22 and reading and trying to understand a philosophy. I'm 22. Is reading and trying to understand philosophy a listed topic? Yes. Of the 5 countries you offer residency, which of the 5 is best for getting laid? I don't ask for 5. I ask for 4. We don't have Uruguay yet. Best for getting laid. So it's Dubai, Paraguay, Mexico, and Armenia. Best for getting laid, Mexico. But Paraguay is good for a certain type of woman that you may or may not like. Armenia is decent, especially if you speak Russian, then it's great. Dubai is awesome for a certain type of guy. It's difficult for everybody else. So the answer is Mexico. Would have preferred to do it with you, but you don't do installments. Incorrect. We do installments if you live in the United States or Canada and your credit isn't horrible. Outside that, we can't. Correct. Should you get a tabletop reverse osmosis? Should I get a tabletop reverse osmosis filter before I've reached 6 months of emergency savings? There's no right or wrong answer to that. It's up to you. Tristan Tate. Oh, here we go. Tristan Tate says, defines any woman who has more than 3 sexual partners as a high body count bang only. Yes, he's an extreme, irrational right-wing conservative. Mm-hmm. Do you still have the feeling of jealousy? No, I do not. I never really was a jealous guy to begin with, but I had a little bit of it in the beginning, but no, I don't. I am way more comfortable since I apply Alpha 2.0 concepts. Don't really care anymore about MLTR seeing other men, but it can come back lightly if I like her. Light jealousy, little twinges here and there are normal. That's okay. Don't worry about that. That's normal. Sorry. But I agree it's critical to have FB's MLTR at the side to feel way less jealous. Correct. Good. I will shake your hand one day, Caleb, maybe in Dubai. I'll thank you for your profound impact on me since first coming across your post during MASF days of 2008. Wow, you've been following me a long time. There's a few of you have been around a long time. That's cool, dude. A few of you have been around a long, long time. MASF is like, well, 08 is when I first got started. Yeah, cool. Best treatments, cures for food allergies. I have no idea. Ukraine should be really easy to get laid after the war, right? It was already pretty easy. However, you got to define easy. Ukrainian women are a subset of Russian women, which means they're traditional, which means they're not going to bang you on the first date. Some will, most won't. They're going to want 2, 3, 4 dates. Then you can have sex. If you consider that easy, sure. It's not like South America. There's ASD in the Ukraine. Eastern Europe and Ukraine is not this paradise a lot of guys think it is. The women are fucking hot, yes. But there's more to just how hot they are. How much drama do they have? How much demands do they have? What's their ASD like? Are they super religious? You got to ask those questions too. And I find that a lot of guys have these fantasies about Ukraine and Russia. And yes, they're hot, but there's other factors. You want to get laid easy and fast, South America, go there right now. You will clean up. Go to Colombia. My God, there's a guy going to fucking Venezuela. He's going to, if he actually does, he'll clean up way easier than Ukraine. What do you take and what's your dosage schedule? Let's see if I can remember. So on testosterone, I have 1 cc syringes that I load on the testosterone, load to the 30, whatever that is, 1/3 cc. And I do that twice a week. And then I do the HCG organoterol, I do load to the 50. I do that twice a week on alternating days, off days. And then I do vitamin B injections. I load to the 7. I do that 3 times a week. And then I do have estrogen blockers, but I don't like them. So I barely do it. So what I do now, I may stop doing this. Matter of fact, I've talked to 2 doctors that I should try stopping it. I might do this. I take 1/2 of an anastrozole pill, and they're tiny. They're already tiny. So I take a half of that once every other week. So I take a little bit of estrogen, but not much. That's what I do right now. Okay, I got to go in a few minutes. Women are attracted to women who look like themselves because women are in love with themselves and wish to fuck themselves. You're really funny. So you would fight a guy for touching Pink Firefly. No, that's not what I said. But say she's allowed to for other men to have sexual encounters with her. No, incorrect. If a man was physically threatening, not verbally threatening, I'm going to kill you. I don't care. Say whatever you want to my wife. I'm Malcolm Independent. Don't care. That's what you need to be. Malcolm Independent. Stop caring. If a man was physically assaulting or threatening my wife, yes, I would kill him because I have to defend her. She's little. I'm a man. We have to defend our women because we're bigger than women. That's one of the small little areas Andrew Tate is right. So yes. Want to have sex. Is she allowed to have sex with other men? Yes, she's allowed to. She doesn't. She doesn't even want to. She's allowed to. If she's not allowed to, then I'd have to monitor that for the rest of my life. And the statistical probability she would cheat, then I have to fight her on that because she's Western. So do you want to be happy or not? That's the question. If you don't care about being happy, tell your woman that she can never touch another guy and you'll be fucking furious if she does. And then check her phone the rest of your life and be Andrew Tate and be unhappy like Andrew Tate. It's fine. It's not my model, but it's up to you. You don't take it too seriously when Billy calls your relationship advice random fuckery. No, why don't I take it seriously? I love Billy. She's my sister. Billy is a woman, B, way over 33. Is she in the target audience for Alpha Male 2.0? No. Target audience for Alpha Male 2.0 is men, usually between the age of like 25 and 55. She's nowhere near the target demo, so I don't care what women think about my Alpha Male 2.0 advice. I do care what they think about my business advice because a lot of women in business are very good. So I don't care what Billy says about this, not because it's not Billy, because she's a girl, she's not part of, and she's an older woman, so she's really outside the target demo. Don't care. I've been doing affirmations, but sometimes it still doesn't feel possible to get my business going and get out of the US. You need to do a lot more than affirmations. Affirmations aren't going to change your life. They help a little tiny bit, 1%. You need to get you off your ass and move. I have a feeling you're not doing this. My recent success with women was great, but it has slowed down. What should I do? Take more action. I have a feeling you're not taking action. Daily action in your business. Daily, every day. An hour a day, set a timer. Put a little check mark. Do the check system from the Unchained Man. You're not taking enough action. Most women doesn't want multiple boyfriends. What's the point of open relationship? It should be open for you. We don't care what the women do. That's their problem. It should be open for you. I have a marriage where it's open for me and not for her. Not because she's not allowed to, because she doesn't. Okay, that's her problem. I don't care what she does. It should be for you. We don't care about open for women or not. Why can't men open and girl closed? As I said 10,000 times. Are you the same guy that's asked that? Okay, if you ask that question one more time, I'm going to start ignoring it because you're asking the same thing over and over again. Because you've asked this question before, it's the last time I'm going to answer you. As I've said many times, in the Western world, now if you convert to Islam and move to Saudi Arabia, maybe you can pull this off. But in the Western world with Western women, no woman is going to go for that for more than about 8-9 months. I'm going to fuck all the women I want. You can't touch other men. And even if she agrees, she'll be like, fine. And all the girlfriends say, what the fuck? He's an asshole. And then she will end up cheating on you. One guy who did this, she fucked his brother because she wanted to make it more fair. That's why it won't work long term. Short term, 6 months, 3 months, maybe a year, you might be able to pull it off. Long term, no. Not in the West. Now, don't ask that question again. In your opinion, how much in savings is expected to get into real estate? In your opinion, how much in savings is expected to get into real estate? Your question makes no sense. Rewrite it. Any special events for when the book comes out in a couple days? Well, first, I'm going to release the book to people who've already bought it, the pre-order. You guys get it. That's not when the book comes out. You guys who already paid for it, you're going to get it immediately. And then I'll announce it that you guys get it. And then after that, I'll do a launch. Yes, for everyone else. And or the people who want to get it now. You want to get it now? You want to get the cheapest price? Unchainedman.io. Go there right now. You have a few days left to get that price. I'm Australian, Caleb, but I respect your choice. I don't understand why you say that. I like Australia. I just wouldn't live there. If anything, this journey of mine has strengthened my resolve and confidence. I've been through so much, I feel I can figuratively move mountains. That's cool. Do you think, all right, 2 more questions. I got to go. Do you think there's an age limit for a day game? Yeah. I was doing day game, in my late 30s, going after like 18-year-olds, and it worked. I've seen guys in their 40s do it. Yep. I don't know what that age would be. 50s? I don't know. So I don't know. The answer is yes, but I don't know what the age that is. But yes, there is a point at which it's not going to make sense. Right. There definitely is for night game. Absolutely for that. Shit, that's late 30s. Late 30s, you don't want to go. I mean, by the time you're 40, you're not going to want to go to clubs. Just don't want to. Hang on. Okay, last questions. But won't it be after the war make it easier to get laid in Ukraine? I answered that question. You're thinking because there'll be less men. Okay. Doesn't change ASD in women, doesn't change religious beliefs in women, doesn't change Ukrainian culture, which is very similar to Russian culture. None of that changes because there's less men. All right. Last question. I am happy with what I accomplished in my personal business and woman life. But I feel struggle at each step of my journey. Have you ever felt that? Of course. That's welcome to real life. It's normal. You hit struggles in every step. I hit struggles in every step. Every step. I don't go, well, God damn, this is bullshit. It's too hard. I say, well, I better get to work. I want that money. I want that life. I want those girls. I better get to work. Let's go. And I dust my hands off and I get to work. Don't be a baby about it. So yes. I thought Ross Jeffries brags about his day game skills. Ross Jeffries is not typical. Are you Ross Jeffries? No. Am I Ross Jeffries? No. Neither one of us are Paul. He's in a category of himself. He can do anything. He could. Oh, shit. He sent me his real name's Paul. He sent me a picture of his girlfriend. Not anymore. It was last year. She was 19, and he's like, in his 60s, and he's an old man. And this is not sugar baby. This is like, he's Ross, and he's like, check this out. I said, pretty good. He's had discussions about non-monogamy. He goes, I couldn't date multiple women. I couldn't handle it. He goes, at my age, I couldn't handle it. All right. Cool. I'm going to let you guys go. 90-day business builder, 90day.ca. Paraguay residency, same deadline. It's early next week. www.caleb.top/go. And that's it. Oh, this will be fun, really quick. The Unchained CEO podcast I'm doing next week. I'm going to rank every country in the world, like 190 of them. I have a whole tier list set up. I'm going to rank every country in the world. That should be pretty fun. I thought of this a few weeks ago. I'm like, I'm going to fucking do this. Every country in the world. Going to be great. All right. Have fun, guys. Bye.